Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for film lovers just like you. Every Monday, I chat about recently watched movies with my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
You know what? There are 10 movies in at this point. All these 2 stars coming in. If you're still waffling on if you like the Fast franchise, the movies aren't the problem. You are.
And our close friend and movie insider, Protolexis.
Like, you don't need anything else. It's just hilarious to watch a guy eat a shoe.
The theme that has guided our episodes this month is May the 4th. We can only choose the 4th movie in a franchise. So later in this episode, we end that theme with Terminator Salvation. Is it the best Terminator movie behind Terminator 2? Or is McG not the director we thought he was? Find out now. Happy Max launch week to you and yours.
Thank you.
To everyone listening. Proto, happy Max launch week. Did you do anything special to celebrate HBO Max becoming Max, the preeminent streaming service on the planet?
Well, I got a tattoo mocked up. I mean, I'm very thankful that our government gave us Monday off to celebrate this momentous occasion of the rebranding of the Max streaming service. So we'll, like everyone else, I'll be celebrating by the pool on Monday.
Yeah, every veteran right now up in arms. That was Protolexis, the movie insider, by the way. Did you watch anything on Max? The new app this week, Danny?
No.
Nothing?
I don't think I did.
You were watching the Terminators this week.
Yes. Was one of those on Max? No, I didn't watch anything on the new Max yet. We'll see what my first Max viewing will be. What was yours?
I watched The Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz.
Did you search that on purpose? Or
I
was
don't
it
even
like
know how it showed up.
algorithm got you?
I mean, I logged in and it was maybe a recommended horror movie, and I was like, why not?
Oh.
What better way to ring in the new year
Right.
with Zaslav and friends?
Is Jeff Goldblum in the sequel?
Only in flashbacks.
Oh.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz is like the son of Goldblum. He's born out of like this sickening, the pregnancy is disturbing. You know, it's like the alien, like fly goop pregnancy, larvae. And he's like growing at like this crazy pace. He's like a teenager by like age 4. Like he's growing like rapidly. And he's super smart.
Sorry, I had to Google what Aaron Stoltz looked like.
Eric Stoltz.
Oh, Eric.
He's the guy,
Stoltz.
remember, he was
Try
like
again.
the original Back to the Future. Michael J.
He was
Fox,
the
remember?
original Marty.
Yeah, the original Marty.
Oh, that's what he looks like.
And
He does look
then
like
it was, you know, this follows the same thing. He's grown in a lab. He gets out, thinks he's kind of like out of the whole system, but then he realizes the system is really watching him the whole time. And it's just like, it's just gross. It's very gross. I think I remember the original Fly was very gross,
It's
but
disgusting.
this felt grosser than the original Fly, believe it or not.
Had to up the ante.
Yeah, they upped it. It looked great. There was some talk in our Discord about how like some of the HD movies look pretty smooth. Like maybe they increased the bit rate,
Oh.
the streaming bit rate, and it looked dynamite. Very clean transfer on The Fly too.
Yo, the Fly 2 is directed by Chris Wallace, director of The Vagrant. Did you watch that, Slim? That was the
Vagrant.
the Bill Paxton movie that the Bat and Spider podcast covered.
Yes, I did watch that.
Oh my gosh.
He's directed 3 movies, and that's one of them.
Bizarre.
You're about to 100% this director on Letterboxd right now. What's the
Am
third
I?
movie?
This is my AFI list. It's the Chris Wallace
what's the third
list.
movie for him?
Gremlins, A Puppet Story. I think it's a
Is it on? Is that
it's
on
a
Max?
documentary. This is right up Slim's alley.
Looking at my review for The Vagrant, there's a line that I wrote, executive produced by Mel Brooks. That's in the credits. I watched this on Tubi.
I still have that GIF saved to my favorites. Let me find it. The body falling down the stairs.
Oh my God, you gotta post that in Discord. That is an insane scene from that movie. So yeah, I mean, it was a... How did you find it so fast?
That's in the favorites, baby.
Oh my God.
So good.
Need to get it. Wait, I didn't even know you could favorite GIFs.
Oh, no.
Where does this go?
Can we wake up?
Oh my God.
Have you never done this?
I've never done favoriting of GIFs. My life's just changed. Paul in chat says he's a day one favorite giver. My life has changed. Let's say hello to some new patrons. Thomas, Matthew, Phantom USA, I think, and Zach joined this week. They got access to the VHS Village Discord. You can join our various watch parties. Mission Impossible 1 was a watch party this week. Seemed highly successful. I think they're doing one every week. They're going through all of them to prepare for Dead Reckoning.
It's crazy that 2's the best one.
Let's calm down,
right?
First of all. Should we do 2 on this show? It's been done on my Tom Cruise podcast.
How far along do we got? What are we cleared up to?
We did 3. We didn't do Ghost Protocol though.
You haven't made a protocol yet?
So for those that are not super familiar, I do a Tom Cruise retrospective podcast with Jonesy.
It's a fantastic show.
From Twin Vipers, the martial arts podcast, and Dale, who was our guest last week. But we kind of stalled out when we got to Lions for Lambs and Valkyrie. I think those are the 2.
I feel like the content you guys could produce for Lions for Lambs would be amazing.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen it, and I just know.
have no desire to watch it. It's like less than zero desire to watch it.
Who cares?
We can't skip it. It's a retrospective of his entire career.
So you'll be back. You did Maverick.
You know how hard it is to schedule a podcast with Jonesy from Twin Vipers?
No, I don't. They're killing it on Twin Vipers.
He has like a 4 a.m. window where he can record a podcast once a month. Makes me ill.
Tell him there's nunchucks in it.
Anywho, you can join them as well at patreon.com/70mm. Get discounts on Danny's beautiful prints. Speaking of beautiful prints, that Return of the Jedi art that dropped last week as of release. Dynamite.
Well, appreciate it.
Dynamite. Little Yoda in there.
Thank you.
What a picture. Danny, what did you watch? We want to talk about. I want to hear about these Terminators. This journey you went on.
Well, I had seen 1 and 2, so I really wanted to watch. I kind of just wanted to watch 3 before we recorded tonight, but I figured we had time since we recorded so early the week before that we had plenty of time. So watch 1 and 2 again. Absolute fantastic movies. I mean, 2 is an easy 5 bang. I love 2 so much. 3 was interesting. I did not like it.
Put it out.
It wasn't. It's so weird because I think, I mean, we'll talk about it more when we talk about 4, especially the story, but it just felt like a weird rehash. It was like combining 1 and 2 with Arnold being the good guy, but also sending back another Terminator to kill whatever his name is, Connor again. It was just like, this is dumb. This is just dumb. The story's dumb. I don't enjoy it. It didn't look bad, and I thought there were some amazing action sequences. There's an amazing car chase with like a crane, and like some of that stuff was a lot of fun. And it was really good. And there's just some good stunt scenes, but man, I wasn't buying any of the story. I just really wasn't. And then whoever was cast as Connor,
Nick Stahl.
That's who I thought you were saying earlier. What you're saying.
Eric Stoltz and Nick Stahl are 2 different people.
Nick was he wasn't the right cast.
No.
I don't know what else Nick has done. I'm sure he's a fantastic actor and other things.
Great guy. Fantastic guy.
Love him. Come on the show, Nick. We'll talk about something else. But him and Claire Danes were weird together. There was just such a weird energy in that movie, and it just was dumb. Didn't like the lady Terminator. I think I just didn't like her design as the machine itself was very weird. I don't know. It was very odd for this to be the third iteration of this film.
I rewatched T2 maybe a couple weeks ago. There's a 35 millimeter print that I watched, and it's fantastic. And I think in my review, I just really like the John Connor like character. I think I wrote like something like, you could replace John Connor with Bart Simpson in this movie and it would still be the same exact movie. Just for like the way he acts in that movie. He's so whiny. He's like,
I mean, he's definitely a Bart-esque character.
He is very much so. But
and
T2.
What was that kid? The kid with the redhead mullet from all the
Eat My
Nickelodeon
Shorts.
stuff? Yes. Love it.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't watch Genesis or Dark Fate?
Which one? No, Dark Fate. I was going to, but I think one of someone's reviews said that it like erases 3 or like retcons 3 or something. I don't know. I don't know these timelines, so I just figured I'd watch 4 and I don't know, maybe be done with the Terminator franchise after this. We'll stay tuned, but
it's an abusive relationship. We'll get into it.
Right?
We'll get into it. Mike is correcting me in chat. Salute your shorts, maybe.
Salute your shorts.
Salute your shorts. Camp
Eat your
Anawana,
shorts,
that
man.
whole thing. They're eating shorts. They're eating all sorts of things.
Yeah, so that was my Terminator journey this week. I don't think there wasn't any like brand new movie that I want to talk about, so we can move on.
Proto, anything on your end?
Movie-wise? Is that what you're asking me?
Anything you want to talk about?
Oh.
This is our platform.
Oh, this is my
Welcome
time.
to the show.
Let's keep it movie-related this week. So I've continued my AFI journey as promised. And can I just say that I've been going on a tear. I knocked out 5 more AFI
My
movies.
God.
Yeah, there's something with inside me that needs to get out.
It's like Eric Stoltz in The Fly 2 right now.
So I've been trying to get the early ones because I'm I feel like if I'm going to do this, I can't get bogged down. I can't have, what's that Tom Cruise movie that's holding up a podcast?
Lions and Lambs.
I can't have a Lions and Lambs situation with this AFI list. So, and I feel like that could happen if I have a lot of old movies. So I watched The General, which is a Buster Keaton movie from 1926.
Good Lord.
I watched The Gold Rush, which is the Charlie Chaplin silent picture from 1925. And also his picture, Modern Times from 1936. So now I went from 0 Charlie Chaplin movies to 3 in a matter of 2 weeks of seeing.
Wow.
I think I said it last week, but Charlie Chaplin really, he's a special character. Watching this character of the tramp that he created is so good and so memorable and iconic. And the way he created this character is hilarious. Everything about it is particular in some way. The way he moves, the way he gestures, the way he reacts to people. And in a weird way, it kept reminding me actually of the character SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, just like the thread of personality of SpongeBob in that TV show. If you I grew up watching that, but Charlie Chaplin's character, the tramp, kind of has like a similar thread to me, where he's kind of like this optimistic character, but who can't like do anything well and keeps getting into these comedic situations. But the comedy is so pure, and like the physical comedy is so good that like there doesn't even have to be necessarily a joke, a punchline, because what he's doing is just hilarious. Like there's a scene in The Gold Rush where they're stuck in a cabin and they're hungry. So he decides to boil his shoe and eat his shoe.
My God.
And so he goes through the whole thing. He's like boiling it and like cooking it. And then he puts it on a plate and he's like cutting it up and he starts to eat it. And like, you don't need anything else. It's just hilarious to watch a guy eat a shoe.
Amazing.
So I had a great time with that. And then I watched another really old one from 1916 called Intolerance. Same guy who directed that other famous silent movie from the infamous
Lions for Lambs.
I think a Birth of a Nation or whatever that movie is. But then I went a little bit more modern. I was sitting in my lonesome Tuesday night, and I decided, let me put on Midnight Cowboy.
Wow!
And if I could just take a moment of time here,
take some more,
and have my piece. Midnight Cowboy. I wasn't expecting. I don't know what I was expecting with this movie.
Let it out.
But imagine you sit down and watch a movie, and there's an actor in this movie. Yeah, maybe some old character, some old actor who, like someone like John Voight, who you've never seen in a young role, and he comes on screen, and he's like in his 20s, and he's a stud. That's how he refers to himself in this movie. Okay. He's a stud. Young John Voight. This movie has it really blew me away. I'm in love with this movie. I was thinking about it all the next day. It's the story of this cowboy from Texas, Joe Buck, played by John Voight, who's going to go to New York City. And he's a hot cowboy, and he's gonna make lovin'.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna find He's gonna find some rich women. He's gonna make a load of cash, and he's gonna have a great time. But 1969 New York City is a little different than he was expecting.
Brutal.
And it's like the editing in this movie is amazing. It has this song that plays throughout the whole thing that kind of is like opposed to the feeling of this movie. But I felt like this movie was like very poetic. I was just really, really struck by it. I gave it 5 stars.
God, I remember.
I couldn't help myself.
This was like the community college film school class movie. Like you watch Midnight Cowboy when you're taking like film classes.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this the one where he says, "I'm walking here"?
Yeah, he slaps the car. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
That's what that's from?
Classic scene, yeah.
That was just all Italians.
There's a lot of like hidden thread lines in this movie that people interpret as well about their relationship and what it means and stuff. So yeah, I haven't seen this probably since college. I think I might be due for a watch as well.
John Barry did the music.
Yeah, the main song is "Everybody Talking" throughout this movie, and it's so good. I felt like this movie kind of feels like despairing, and I mean, you're in grimy New York. This guy's getting hustled constantly. Like it looks like this is like my hell to be this guy. But it does great to play it off with the music. So highly recommend this.
Streaming a lot of places. Paramount, Canopy, Hoopla. Support your local libraries. Mm-hmm. Tubi, Pluto. Support your local free streaming services owned by large corporations. Mm-hmm. You so choose. Big week. The Proto 2.0, we were wrong to doubt it to start the year, I feel like.
Right.
The amount of work Proto's putting in.
I agree.
I'm inside.
Excuse me.
I'm inside the movies.
He's inside the movies. Every week we give out a free year Letterboxd Pro. Disclaimer, I'm a Letterboxd employee. And that gets rid of ads. You can see those year-end stats. I was just looking at Proto's year-end current year stats to see what his average movie per week is.
What is it?
He's nearing 6 movies per week.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever been done. A couple of weeks ago, I was looking at the previous years, and you're riding high. Anywho, the winner of this week's Letterboxd Pro logged Return of the Jedi today as a recording Thursday.
Oh, my.
Watched this with my son to celebrate its 40th anniversary alongside The Boys, TM, on the 70mm pod, who released a surprise episode for it today. I think the most prominent genetic trait of the Skywalker family is dramatically revealing that you're related to someone who has no idea. It happens twice in this trilogy, which admittedly isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it happens twice. So that's Samuel. Congratulations on the free year of Letterboxd Pro.
Congrats. So what'd you watch this week?
What did I watch that I want to talk about? I watched the second Fright Night. Not
Oh,
many
you
people know
finally
that there
did
was a
that.
second Fright Night. Everyone loves the first Fright Night. Classic horror movie, a lot of fun, very funny. But there was a Fright Night Part 2, which features predominantly the same cast. Have you guys seen Fright Night, the OG?
No.
No.
Oh,
I thought it would be picked for the show at some
the
point.
soundtrack to that movie. My God.
Oh, don't tell Proto.
Maybe when we do, maybe I pick Fright Night. Maybe it's time.
We do Halloween
but I
in
think
December.
Dale, who was on last week for Jaws, he was guesting on, I think, Brian Rubble's YouTube channel. He reviews like horror movies and stuff. So Dale was going to be in this live stream, and then I think they were going to be talking about Fright Night Part 2. And this movie has been rumored to be getting like a Blu-ray release forever. It's never really been released outside of, I think, maybe like bootleg Blu-rays. So, but it's on YouTube. So I watched it on YouTube, just 480p. Probably should have watched it on my phone. It probably would have looked better. But it was great. A lot of fun. And the backstory of the movie is one of the producers was murdered like before the movie's release. And it
In
was
real
like
life.
in real life. And it like held up, like a bunch of things held up the release of this movie. It was like it was tied up in like litigation, etc.
What? A producer?
But the father was murdered by his two sons, the Menendez brothers.
What?
Remember that trial? When growing
This
up,
has-
the
Oh, wow. Okay.
the Menendez brothers, that whole thing is connected to Fright Night Part 2. So the
Oh.
backstory of this is just so fascinating to look back on, and you know, when you look into like, why don't people know about Fright Night Part 2? That's a big reason why. So the more you know. I told my wife Amanda that, and she's like, I don't know what the F you're talking about. Menendez who? Out of my face, loser. Essentially is what she said. I saw some comments in chat about Free Jack. I watched Free Jack with Emilio Estevez.
Our boy.
Mick Jagger as a bounty hunter. I don't know, man. Mick Jagger's voice. I can't even with Mick Jagger's voice. I just can't.
I know
can't.
you have an impression.
I don't even know if I can do an impression. His voice is so absurd. And he's in this 2-hour movie as a bounty hunter tracking down Emilio Estevez. I mean, people just look up some clips, and I don't even know what else to say. It's ghastly, his voice.
Oh,
This
gosh.
banner on Letterboxd.
The banner image is insane. I mean, look at that leather jacket he's wearing. All right, anything else? Any business we got to tend to? The next
Business.
Cage pick was selected. I'll just say this real quick. The supporter-only episodes, the next movie has been chosen. It's Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell.
Have you ever seen it?
Never seen it.
Oh.
I saw it when it came out, and I didn't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Very long time ago.
People
So stay
change.
tuned for more information about that movie's release. We got to get into our main course. Terminator 4. We're wrapping up May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, and also with you. Terminator Salvation 2009, our 172nd episode. Proto, what is this movie about?
It's the future, and Skynet and the human resistance are locked in an ongoing battle for control of the planet and eradication of each other. John Connor leads his team of resistance fighters into a secret Skynet research center where the robots are cooking up something devilish. Skynet has found a way to merge human tissue and consciousness with a cybernetic exoskeleton to create a human-robot hybrid human-cyborg relations. Marcus is one of those hybrids and slowly discovers what he is. Unwilling to be used against humanity, he seeks to aid John Connor in finding his father and ending Skynet. But can Marcus choose his fate? Is he more machine than man? Terminator Salvation.
Luke, make sure it speaks Bocci! I can't believe I got that out all in one fell swoop.
Golly.
I would love it. How about a supercut of just Slim replacing all of Aunt Beru's lines.
Oh my God. Whew. Yeah, great music to this franchise. Amazing music to this franchise. Our former producer, disgraced Ian, he was producer for 3 episodes to start the show. He has like a hot take about the Terminator franchise that we trolled him about. I think it was something along the lines of like, no one under 35 gives a crap about Terminator. Yeah. And this was around the time where like Dark Fate was coming out, and I bought into the hype. I'm like excited again because I love Terminator. I love the franchise. I love everything about it. I love the old ride, like that I've never been on, but I look up YouTube videos to see.
You never got the T2 ride?
I never was on the T2 ride. But like this universe is so cool. And I've talked about it before. There's like this amazing RoboCop versus Terminator comic book. That is one of my favorites if you can get your hands on it. So I'm all in on Terminator. That's just right off the bat. Prato, are you all in on Terminator? What's your backstory?
All in on Terminator. I would say, I don't know if I would say I'm all in on Terminator. I don't think I've seen Dark Fate or Genesis. And I feel like if I was all in, I would have seen the movies, right?
Right.
So definitely not all in.
Did you see Genesis, Slim?
Yeah.
Oh, you're all in. That's right.
I was all in. And after that, I wanted to be all out. I mean, just horrific reboot attempt. Made me angry.
Huh.
So you haven't, yeah, that's right. You haven't seen Genesis. So I can't remember. Did you see Dark Fate when it had come out?
Who are you talking to? Which white guy?
Danny.
Me. No. I haven't seen Dark Fate or Genesis.
Wow.
And my first Terminator movie would be Salvation. I didn't see the first 3 before this.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Terminator wasn't a thing I cared about at all. And I've done the Universal show multiple times. I even watched the TV show, The Chronicles, because I can't think of her written name right now, but she was from Firefly, and I followed her after Firefly to Sarah Connor Chronicles. So this was my first intro into Terminator was Salvation.
Wow.
And it's probably just riding, Batman Begins and Dark Knight High era of Christian Bale. So probably why I went and saw it.
Yeah, I remember, 2019. That must have been just before the pandemic started? Terminator Dark Fate? Because I remember Salvation had come out, and full disclosure, I watched it, I think in 2019 in preparing for Dark Fate, and I loved Salvation. I gave it 4.5 stars. We'll get into it.
Oh my.
But then Dark Fate was coming out, and rumored that James Cameron had given his blessing, or he wrote some of the story with Tim Miller together. They're working on it together. So then you're getting tricked again. That's generally the case with the Terminator franchise. It's like an abuser. You get tricked again. You're like, oh, maybe this is okay. Maybe we're back. And unfortunately, you're not back. I gave 3 stars to Dark Fate because I think it was Tim Miller who was coming off of Deadpool hype. We got the director of Deadpool. We're making the new Terminator movie. Sarah Connor's back. And in reading the wiki for Dark Fate, Cameron even talks about it. He's I think our main mistake was buying our own BS. He's the movie could work with Linda Hamilton coming back.
Right.
This movie could work with Arnold coming back, but it can't work with both of them because Linda is 70 or 60. Arnold is
90,
10 years older. It just doesn't who's this movie for? And he even admitted it. And he's we just bought into our own, what's the word? Starts with an M, but I can't remember it. So when I don't remember if I had seen this in theaters, Salvation. My first viewing as an adult was a couple of years ago. So we'll get into this rewatch this time around in 4K.
Oh, baby.
So we'll go around the room, round table style, 3 things from each host, and then we'll give our honorable mentions and rating. So Danny, let's start with you.
Oh gosh, you're starting with me. Okay. I'm going to start off with my biggest complaint for this movie. if you're okay with that.
Please.
I feel like every role in this movie is miscast. I don't buy almost every performance in this film. And it really frustrates me. I don't like Christian Bale as John Connor. I don't like
Sam Worthington.
I don't like Sam Worthington in this either. But then I'm thinking, what movie do I like Sam Worthington in? But that's a whole nother conversation. But I feel like the biggest flaw for this movie is I don't buy any character's performance, and I don't like who was cast for each character. And I don't know who would be better at the time for any of these performances. But and I love Christian Bale, but man, there was just something about his performance in this, watching it this viewing, not this is way distance from my first viewing. I just didn't like it. I didn't like him in this role. It was very weird. His gravelly voice it really wasn't like giving me like Batman vibes, but it was just like, why are we doing this? Like
Right.
I didn't get his whole, portrayal of John Connor in this. And that's kind of it. Like I was really just annoyed at each performance. It was just bland. And I mean, I don't know what I really expected, because I remember my first viewing just loving this movie. But
What about
yeah,
Anton?
I just feel like
Anton as Reese. Kyle Reese.
I don't like Anton as Reese either. And I like Anton. I mean, I loved Anton in the Star Trek movie. But I mean, because he's incredible in that. But there's just
Rip.
I don't know. Right. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Berto, where do you stand on the cast?
Let's see. I agree. Well, thinking about Christian Bale, this came out in between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
So was
Top
this
of
an
the
Austin
world.
Butler situation? He couldn't get out of it.
Couldn't stop the voice.
He couldn't get out of it, maybe.
Contractually.
But I like Sam Worthington in this.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, Sam Worthington, he seems like he's kind of like a journeyman actor. He's like in an alternate universe, he gets all the roles that like Chris Pratt gets.
Mm.
Like I would have preferred him, I think, in like the Jurassic World series to Chris Pratt.
Oh, what
Interesting.
if? My gosh, should we reboot it again?
Try again.
One more time.
McG and Sam Worthington.
Oh my
Jurassic
God.
Universe.
Co-written by James Cameron. Get in there, baby.
Enough.
I like Sam Worthington as well. I know Sam Worthington. I feel like 99% of people agree with Danny that Sam Worthington is
It's
just
a
kind
first
of
for me too.
a dud in this. I like him. And originally Christian Bale was supposed to be the Marcus character, and he like
Interesting.
actually changed his mind, or like talked to McG. I love that his name is McG.
I hate it.
Although everyone calls me Slim, so I guess I can't really talk. But I thought I'm wondering like what that would have been like if Christian Bale was the Marcus character. That would have been pretty cool, I feel like. Moon Bloodgood I liked as the soldier, the horny soldier. I mean, what are the chances Moon Bloodgood's character comes upon Marcus and they're both just like the horniest living people on the post-apocalyptic planet?
Right.
Unreal.
I think my problem is not so much that I think the performances are bad, is that the characters don't feel like connected in any real way. Like there feels like this movie doesn't have any heart that gets me invested in the story of these characters. It almost feels like they're all on the periphery of what's happening, and they like kind of come in and out of scenes. And I don't really like it doesn't like I don't feel the stakes of them living and dying in this movie.
I think that's maybe how I feel. I think you're better describing it for me. I feel like also the viewer is supposed to have this love for Terminator. Like the heart should already be there, for John Connor in this story, but I don't think it is. I don't think it's enough to push through this story with the characters.
There was some of that stuff, this isn't my first point, but like some of the stuff with John Connor, like hating Marcus, like didn't really vibe with me. Cause like in my head, like, I mean, Arnold turned out pretty well for you. Like the T-800 or whatever, like he was your best friend. He saved your life in two separate movies. The two major moments of your life, a robot turned good and helped you. But he's like so disgusted with Marcus when he sees his like robot body. Couldn't even say body correctly. But my first point is like this movie taking place in the future is like my dream. The production design of this movie is insane. The idea that this is taking place in the future that has already like happened with the Skynet, it's taken over, and you're like with the resistance, like this is a genius idea. And this was supposed to be a trilogy. This was supposed to be so good that McG was going to fire right into 2 and 3.
Interesting.
And it didn't happen because the rights lapsed with the company that was like producing the movie. Like the Halcyon company lost the rights or they went bankrupt. So it went into like litigation hell, which has happened with this franchise for many, many times over. But I loved the like the Terminator plant at the end where you're seeing the mass construction of the Terminators. Mm-hmm. I love the bikes. I love seeing the different like the kind of like living dead Terminator just patrolling the streets, like the old outdated models. And I love that stuff. And like the kind of like color grading that they did in the movie to make it even more barren looking. Like this is awesome. Like I would have loved 3 of these had it worked out. Even if maybe like people didn't like this one, you know, how many other movies stink and they get like 6 more movies after that because they make money. In theory, we probably could have gotten 2 more after this. And I would have been interested to see where it went, to be honest.
My first point was going to be that the Terminator franchise, like the main conceit of the Terminator franchise is that a machine gets sent in the past into like our current time to kill someone who's important in the future, right? Like that's what the first 3 movies are about. And this whole idea of John Connor saving humanity in the future is more of like the lore of Terminator that we're never actually supposed to see. It's more of kind of like, you know, Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi. It's just lore that we get to imagine and say what if, and we don't actually ever get to see.
And this company dared to dream and gave it to us.
They dared to dream. And I guess my thought is like, is this because of like what the Terminator is? It's like, it's really like an action thriller, almost like horror series about a machine trying to kill someone. This kind of like abandons that and says like, no, let's look at this story. Like, let's go into a post-apocalyptic, this future of more of like a Matrix situation of man versus machine. And we're just going to carry over like the Terminator and the kind of look and feel of it. And I guess my question is like, is that a good idea? Now, I agree. I was like the first half hour of this movie, I was like, this movie looks amazing. Like that opening scene of them landing at the Skynet Research Center and jumping out and the way like the camera swoops around.
The helicopter stuff too.
Like it was very cinematic and like very engaging. I thought it was like awesome. And like from scene to scene, I agree. Like the production design is awesome in this. I was like really blown away rewatching this by how some of it looked. But still, like that thought of like, is a Terminator movie about this period in the future? Is this what they should be doing?
I mean, I guess I would say yes, only because look at what happened with Genesis. Look at what happened with Dark Fate. And to another degree, look what happened with T3. Like that hasn't aged as well. And I guess you could also say this hasn't aged well either. So I feel like we're just getting all strikes with these movies.
But the thing is, like, is there any meat on the bone left for this series? Like, is there anything there? And maybe that's what the point of it was. Is like we can't do it again where we send a machine into the past. So all we can do is go to the future where we have some runway.
I think this is, for me, it's perfect, the story. I love seeing this part of the Terminator story, but I wish that it was closer to when they send Arnold back. Like, I wish it was older Kyle. I don't like the younger Kyle storyline because, I mean, then I guess I get it. If they're going to do 3 of these movies, then I guess it makes sense that it probably runs into when Kyle sends the Terminator back or whatever. But I love seeing future the future world. 2018 is a weird time to set it, but whatever. But visually, I love this movie. There's a 30-minute doc on YouTube you guys should definitely check out, because they talk about that first scene and how hard it was to composite all of it, to actually land the helicopters and time it all out. They show ILM just building that first scene. Wow. And then they talk a lot about Stan Winston Studios, and the models that they built for this movie are bonkers. They build like a 10-block radius of the Skynet city. And when they're blowing up the buildings and they're blowing up the satellites and they're getting actual helicopters from the military to land and fly around. And the production value on this movie is just incredible. And I think it's why it kind of holds up still. There's so little, I mean, there is CG, but they're still just the giant models walking around, and it's pretty bonkers.
I think the wiki said this is maybe still the most expensive Terminator movie ever made.
It has to be.
Even more so than Dark Fate, I think. But yeah, like the models and stuff, so cool. Was that your number 2, Danny?
I mean, my number 2 was going to be the production value of this film. There's just that's very noticeable. And for me, it's definitely in it's in that gas tank scene, the gas station scene.
Oh yeah.
That scene is incredible when they meet up with the people that are giving out food and they have to escape the giant mech god that they send after these people. Watching the making of that scene blows my mind, that all those explosions were real and they're blowing up this massive tanker. Like it's a gorgeous scene for any action movie to watch. And there's just so many of these moments in this film that kind of bring it back around for me, that how much I really like it.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the Inside Edition or ET filming, like, look at this wild stunt scene on the new Salvation Terminator movie. Mm-hmm. It's like, the helicopter showing the explosions and stuff. And like that wouldn't happen now. Like that's all CGI. You know, like they're not going that hard.
I mean,
with physical.
Didn't Chris Nolan drop a nuke or something that we heard about?
Oh boy.
Is that a real thing?
No comment. My next point, my number 2 would be, so like I gave this 4.5 stars. Let me see if I can find my original review. I just want to pick some comments in here. Yeah, I loved like the callbacks when I had first watched this in 2019. So this probably was prep for Dark Fate. Like I love the callbacks. I love the needle drops of the music, like from the original. I can't tell if that was a good one or a bad one.
No, the Alice in Chains drop when he hot wires the Jeep.
Yeah. So good.
Come on, man. We need to get out of LA. What is that?
Something my brother used to listen to.
And then when he is with the motorcycle, and GNR starts firing up. Oh, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I loved how it like came full circle. So like when I was watching for that first time, I was like, this is amazing. And I loved like the grit and grime of the movie. So when I watched it this week for the first time in 4K, I didn't like what I saw in 4K. Like I actually thought that it had aged, in my opinion, poorly in 4K. Mm-mm. So like there were some scenes. Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
Disagreeing.
There were some scenes for me that like were obviously like green screen, and which sucks because most of this is like location, real. Like when you're in Kyle Reese's like hideout on that like rooftop, and there's like the gray fog. Yeah. I was like kind of like taken out. I was like, I don't like the way that looks. But there's so few of these scenes that it just like took me out of it. And then there was like the Bale, them trying to use the signal on that thing at night in the desert. Like that one looked like, I don't know, it just looked not great in 4K. So then I was like, do I need to get the Blu-ray and rewatch this, like, and find.
Is that why you rewatched?
So yeah, so I was so bummed when I watched this in 4K that I went back to the Blu-ray to watch it in 1080p, and it looks the same. Like, it looks just as gritty. That kind of detail on some of those backgrounds and some of the way that, like, some things look different at night or whatever. I don't know. I didn't realize that it could be that kind of different in a 4K version. So, and that's mainly because of my memory of watching this years ago and what I guess would be like a 720p or a 1080p version. So I had a great time on this second rewatch. Did either of you catch any of that in the 4K? Maybe not.
No, I didn't. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of moments where I was just like, the CG is not holding up too well. I was pretty impressed with most of it. I mean, I guess just having a general, not knowledge, but general idea that this was 2009, that this can't be anything that's really going to blow my mind. I think I was just kind of enamored with a lot of the props and the model making. And
yeah, all that still looks amazing in 1080p or 4K.
That scene that you talked about real quick, Kyle Reese on the like rooftop where they lay down, that building that collapses a miniature next to them. Like,
really?
It's an incredible miniature. Yeah. You got to watch that doc.
I need to.
Yeah, I mean, some of the CGI really stood out to me as being pretty rough. I love the chopper crash at the beginning with John Connor in it. But, you know, some of the CGI there is questionable. There's a scene where they're at like you see like the Hollywood sign in LA.
Not good.
That looked bad. I mean, the final scene of the helicopters leaving looked terrible. Like, it just had like, it looked like a 3D model, like with smooth, like no texture, no finer detail.
Yeah.
Just kind of like moving through the screen. It was just like very obvious. But I also don't feel like it ruined the movie for me either, because at different parts, I was like in awe of what I was seeing at the same time. Like we said, like the gas station scene is incredible.
Brandon's
gas station
asking in
homage.
chat. Oh yeah, another homage. Brandon's asking did fake Arnold look in 4K? Fake Arnold is some of the best CGI in the history of filmmaking. I don't know how they pulled this off with this fake Arnold. It looks amazing. It looks better than Luke on Disney Plus.
They have a guy that's about the size of Arnold back then, like that build. He's huge. He's ripped, a massive dude. ILM CG'd from pretty much nipples up of his body, just Arnold on top of him. And it is impressive how they did it. Like, it's in the doc. I don't want to keep talking about it, but it's incredible. Like, there's this guy that's the size of young Arnold, and all they did was nipples up CG on this dude. And I thought CG Arnold looked fine. I didn't mind it.
Looked great. And I love that moment of him coming face to face with the original model too. Love it.
Nipples up, put it on a shirt.
Proto number 2 for you?
So the idea, like, this goes away from the what the Terminator movies are about. I feel like whatever I think reservations I have about that is made okay by like the introduction of the whole Sam Worthington Marcus character. I love this whole idea. Like, this makes perfect sense as like a continuation of what the machines are doing, and like why they would do this. Like, yes, of course, let's try to get a human who looks exactly like them, that can fool other humans, who is themselves fooled into thinking that they're human, but they're really a machine. Even like this, I guess it's almost like a prologue scene with him on death row. So you kind of know that he's like a bad dude, and then him waking up. I mean, how hard is the scene of him waking up covered in mud?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Can you imagine
It's
like
amazing.
waking up and you're in like you're in like a wasteland, and like you have no idea where you are. You thought you were dead, and you just like wake up here. That was amazing. But like this whole character, I love this idea, and I think it's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I love the character. I love Sam Worthington, his acting. Like when he crawls out of that thing, he does that guttural yell, that primal yell. And then when he finds out that he's a robot, and like what a character, like that's hard. Like, oh, Sam, act like you just found out you're a robot. You're upset about it. And like he's hanging there, he's getting shot at, he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like despondent. And then when he gets towards the end, he has to go to Skynet, and he's like, the security gets to him and they scan him. And they're like, okay, he's a robot. And his reaction to that, like all that stuff is awesome. I love Sam Worthington and the character itself. It's so cool. Like the infiltration prototype, when she tells him that like, this is all our plan, idiot. Like we made you to get in there and you delivered the goods. You did your job. You didn't even realize it. So amazing.
That was my like Return of the Jedi moment when it all felt like a trap. It was all set up, getting him to lead everyone to Skynet and fail them. It was. I agree. I think his storyline is probably the best in the movie. I find the prosthetic work they did on him to be quite fascinating. When they show his body all strung up and you can see the machine inside of it. I thought he looked incredible. I loved it how it looked on half of his face too. I thought he looked really good. But yeah, it's a great addition to the lore of the Terminator stuff.
So when this movie, right before it had come out, or not right before, but like while they were filming it, I was pretty hardcore into like Ain't It Cool News, all those like rumor sites. And the lore of this movie is that the script leaked for this movie while it was like still being worked on. And the ending leaked. So the original ending was that John Connor would die and they would put his skin on Marcus.
Oh my God.
And he would continue to lead the revolution, unbeknownst to everyone else, that he was a robot.
Oh my God.
Yo, okay.
So
that's awesome.
When that had come out, people like freaked out and they didn't like it. Like nerds, everyone, this became like the biggest nerd story of the year. And they ended up going and changing it based on the internet reaction to it. But like, can you imagine? And then on top of that, another original ending that was like talked about in the script was he would have Connor's skin on, but then Skynet would flip back on and he murdered all the leaders of the resistance and the movie would end.
My God.
Can you imagine if that was the real ending?
Holy cow.
So yeah, there's like such a fascinating look back to this movie's release and what it eventually became. Danny, number 3.
I think I've run out of numbers. I think we've talked about most of it.
What's your honorable mentions looking like?
Honorable mentions. How about dead Terry Crews in the beginning? Did you guys catch that? Do you know who Terry Crews is? The black guy?
Is he the guy that was like on his back when Connor came out of the
Yes,
the hole?
Correct. He was just dead on the ground. Apparently, he had a entire scene fighting on top of he was a commander fighting the whatever war before Bale gets into the underground area. And he gets killed up there because he tells Common that his brother died. That was him.
I remember that. Wow.
Terry didn't know that his whole scene was cut until they screened the movie.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
But when it first happens, I'm like, why is dead Terry Crews on the ground? Like 5 minutes into this movie, what did I miss? I really rewound it. I was like, oh, I must have looked at my phone or something. Why are her teeth so white? I think I was talking about
the soldier.
Yes, she had really white teeth after in post-apocalyptic world. Heart transplant in the middle of the desert, I thought was interesting.
Yes, open air surgery.
Yeah, the vague injury to his heart. He's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it. It's weak. The Skynet assembly line. I'm at 4 stars for this movie.
Oh,
I still really liked it. I still really like the story, and I'm going to fall in love with miniatures and props and the way this film looks. I think it looks incredible. You just give me a new John Connor, and I'm at 5 stars for this film, I think. Wow. I just have a problem with the casting, and that's really it. I still enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, especially after you watch T3. This is like T2 after you watch T3.
Right. Yeah. I think that
But,
that has something to do with my thoughts too. Like, I've been burned by this franchise so many times that when you see something like this that has like new ideas, it's in the future and it does some cool things, I'm like, you know what? This is pretty good, actually.
Yeah. And the thought of 3 movies set in post-apocalyptic Terminator Skynet era sounds amazing to me. And it bums me out that we don't get 2 more that kind of can continue the story and then run into T1 at some point. I think that would be an amazing circle to complete.
Yeah, let's see. Some of my honorable mentions. I also love the design of Connor's clothes and Worthington's little like coat that he's wearing, that like resistance ensemble that they had going on.
Wait, why did they get a red patch for killing a Terminator?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Okay.
I haven't earned mine yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the line about blood? Isn't that blood is the symbol of the resistance? I like that line too. The human cattle aspect was cool, like them experimenting on humans. Like you only get that brief shot of those like nude bodies on the experimenting table, but man, I want to see lots more of like what's happening there. Like just that whole surgery stuff. Like, oh man, that's so cool. I mean, Connor's entrance to this movie in general is cool. When he gets out of the helicopter and it like lands on the Terminator head and he just shoots it like right away. Marcus jumps into, how about this scene is insane when he jumps into the ocean to get to the leaders of the resistance.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. That is nuts. I also like the idea of like Skynet's scheme of creating a fake signal or a signal that will control the machines just to find out where the leaders of the resistance are, knowing that they'll use the signal. And they did it like idiots and they like blew them up. I love that.
Humans. Yeah. Them like, there was some like really cool, on the screens of them like doing the signal and just like the way it looked on the monitors, all that stuff like in the sub was really awesome.
Yeah.
Looking.
I thought the one resistance leader, what was that one guy's accent? It just felt like it was ADR'd after the fact. Everything that guy said just sounded so weird. Needs more grain. I think I was talking about the 4K.
Can we add some more grain?
The pilot hanging, the Moon Bloodgood, I think is the actor's name. Like her hanging from her parachute. I feel like I saw that in marketing materials like a ton leading up to this movie's release. So I did watch the director's cut the second time around. So I did see there was like talk of what scenes were added in. There's a weird scene where she, her and Marcus like hold up in the rain after they beat each other. There's a scene where she's like taking her top off.
Oh my.
And she like is covering her chest and looks back at Marcus and they just kind of like make, ogling eyes at her. It's so weird. That's why it was cut.
McGee, please.
It's bizarre. Let's see. The original ending. Oh, the cool scene too where he says to Connor, he's like, I'll help you. I'll go into Skynet and turn off everything or whatever. And they're having like this uneasy alliance. And right before he's walking backwards into the water and Connor like approaches him. He's like, what are you?
I don't know.
And he just like continues back in. It's so cool. I love Sam Worthington's character in this. Like he's just grappling with a whole hell of a lot.
Apocalypse Now homage in that scene with the helicopters.
Yo, they literally say that in the
making of?
You know the scene where she's escaping with Worthington and he runs and that napalm goes across the forest. They literally say we're going to do it bigger than Apocalypse Now when they've set up that scene.
Yeah, it seemed pretty obvious.
What should I tell your men? I'll be back.
Oh god,
so
I kind of eye rolled at that. I kind of eye rolled a little bit.
I loved it. I
know, but man,
the one thing too that I was like thinking about. We've read so many comic books, but I feel like he shouldn't. Maybe he wasn't a comic nerd, but like you shouldn't really need to rush to save Reese. I feel like the past has happened. Nothing like if Reese dies in front of you, like you're not going to cease to exist. You've created a new timeline. Like your present is happening no matter what. And like I feel like that if he thought that, then this movie wouldn't have happened. He's like, all right, well, if Reese dies, whatever. I mean, we're still fighting through this.
His picture of Sarah will start fading away like Back to the Future.
Yes, this isn't the Back to the Future time travel science that we're thinking
Make up
of
your
here.
own time travel story.
Right.
That's not real.
Is it not? Is there an official like how time works in Terminator somewhere?
I think it all.
up.
This is the. I think that is the timeline. Like if something changes in the past, all the comics are like that. Like when they go back to RoboCop and he does something, it warps the future. It's all a whole thing. The human condition no longer applies to you. She says. Damn, I thought that was cool. The molten lava fight at the end.
Gnarly.
That stuff is awesome looking.
Mm-hmm. He scratches his face.
Yeah, and that's the scratches he had in the last movie, or when they showed Connor from the future. So that's a callback to explain how he got those scars.
Wait, what? In what?
Because
movie?
you see older John Connor in the future. Like when the movie, I think is it T2, where they're showing the future world where like they're battling the machines, and you see older John Connor. He's got those scars.
That was John. For some reason, I thought that was Kyle. But I guess that's John.
So like on the 4K viewing, I was actually like super bummed. Just my memories of this movie being grainy and gritty and all that was kind of like gone in the 4K. So I was like 3 stars on the 4K watch. But thankfully I made the time to go back to the old Blu-ray, and I'm going to stay at 4.5 stars.
Yes.
I have so many good memories of this movie.
Yes.
I know it's not perfect. I know I'm in the minority of loving this movie, but it's just that I've been hurt so often by this movie franchise that like one crumb of something good I'm going to latch on to. Pardo?
So my third point was going to be, how we talked that they were going to make this a trilogy originally. I feel like you can see why, because the ending of this is kind of terrible, in my opinion. I actually just had to look up how the movie ended because I forgot already. It was that.
Yeah, it's like obviously a reshoot ending, I feel like. I feel like Anton's hair is different in the ending than it was the whole movie.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it doesn't set anything up.
Right.
Like there's no cliffhanger. There's no, like, you don't come out of this thinking like, oh, what's going to happen next? It's like, okay, John Connor survives and he's like, we're going to keep on going, fighting.
Yeah.
You're the resistance. If you hear this, you're the resistance. And it's like, okay, this is the best you had. Like, how about ending the movie with seeing John Connor send Kyle into the past?
Right.
And connect it back to the first one. Like, that seems like so obvious.
Yeah, there's no talk of any time machine in this, right? Or did they even allude to
because Kyle
machine?
is so young in this. They haven't talked about time travel yet.
But I feel like they could have, like, if we're in my altered timeline idea, like maybe this is different. Maybe time in this new timeline with young Reese, maybe time machines are built already. You know, they've already changed the timeline with him knowing all this stuff.
I honestly think it's just because they have 3 movies planned.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
true.
there's definitely time jumps going to happen in the next 2 films.
Oh my God, can you
But
imagine?
even with that, just have a scene. Just have John Connor and Kyle Reese in a room, and John Connor's like,
we just found the time machine.
yeah, we have to go to Russia or something. And it's like, and we're going to send you into the past. And like, that's the end of the movie. And just set up the next
that would be
one.
sick.
Where's the time machine? He's like interrogating the robot.
Anyway, so honorable mentions. I have a lot of things.
Get into it.
We got time.
So I remember my biggest pet peeve watching this the first time, and I counted it this time. The Terminator throws John Connor 6 times. In any of the previous movies, does a Terminator ever get their hands on one of the characters? Because I feel like if they did, they would immediately just kill him. That's what they are there for. They're a Terminator. And instead of killing John Connor, it decides to like whack him with the arm. First of all, also would break all of his ribs. Like he would be dead. anyway with one swing of this metal arm. But he doesn't. And that just kind of like drives me crazy at the end. And of course, it's a movie, like they're building tension or whatever. It just seems so silly to me though.
Right.
By the end of it.
Just like grab him with two hands and bend him backwards. Like John Connor's dead. That's the end of the scene.
I mean, even if he wasn't a robot under that man's body, Christian Bale's not fighting that guy off.
True.
Oh, I think they jump off the bridge and the mech catching them and putting them into the transport. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How about that mech like hitching a ride? Because I was wondering like, how does that mech travel? And he just like gets on top of the
transforms.
jet thing.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I would have I'd love to have like a toy of that, of just like that coming out of the.
Oh, should we look up Terminator Salvation toys on eBay?
Oh my God.
Please.
$500 hot toys.
Sam Worthington ragdolling through the water at one point.
Yes.
That was amazing. ILM does it again. Oh, I was dying at the scene where John Connor he's talking to, I don't know if it was a helicopter or a jet, and he's like giving them instructions like, evasive maneuvers now. Like he's like, dude, you're on a walkie-talkie and the pilot is flying the plane. Why are you telling them what to do? It just, goofball, John Connor.
How about the Sony Vaio logo? Did you catch that? Remember the Sony Vaio brand?
I remember the Vaio brand. What was the logo?
He was using it on like his little transponder. I think it had Vaio. I guess Sony maybe gave them $20 million towards the budget of the movie or something. But Sony Vaio computers were always the computers I wanted but could never afford. They were always so expensive.
Yeah, they were hot. There's a Terminator in a bandana, which was hilarious at the human cattle.
Why
farm.
was he wearing a bandana?
Because they had people faces on them. Like they were supposed to be dressed like humans still.
So
they had the
maybe those
skin.
were
They had the skin faces.
Early skin models.
Yeah.
I'm still a human.
Also, can you imagine being Sam Worthington and like you're walking through LA, it's gone, and then you see a robot with a machine gun. You gotta be like, what the F is going on? What did I just wake up into?
How long was he out for? 9 years?
Something like that.
Sheesh.
How about every kind of AI story like this ending at a citadel with a machine explaining what's going on?
It's true.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed with the ending. But I had a great time. And as I was watching this, I was like, oh my God, am I giving this 5 stars? Because I agree. It looks amazing at points. And I love the direction. I thought it was just like, it had so much going for it. And then of course there's like the rough CGI. But I think at the end of it, I was just like bummed by the ending and didn't really feel like the weight of just any of the characters or like where things were going. So unfortunately, I felt like a little let down by it, but I'm going to say this movie's good and I'll give it 3 stars.
Ooh, moving up from your previous log of Salvation.
I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a fun movie.
It is fun. God, I mean, Danny, was that your idea? I mean, imagine the ending of them just getting the call, we found the time machines.
Yeah,
we found Project Time Machine or something
Just
like that.
dumb.
Like, and then everyone just like looks or whatever. Come on, would have been great. I was looking at V'ger, the supercomputer who loves movies that Proto built earlier. The average rating from our supporters on our Patreon for this movie 2.97.
Yeah, might as well be a 3-star.
Round it up.
Yeah, we round up here.
We have some letters to get to. You can send us a voice memo or a letter at 70mmpod@gmail.com. Let me fire up the machine over here. Brandon, subject line, Terminator franchise rankings.
Oh, God.
Danny, Proto, and Slim, I want to open this letter with a formal apology to Proto's dad. As we all know, Terminator 3 is his all-time favorite movie, and it did not fare well in these rankings. Thankfully, there is a movie in this franchise that is significantly worse, so at least it's not dead last. Sorry, Mr. Alexis. Appreciate you guys picking this so I can finally see the Terminator franchise in the completed collection section of my LB stats. I had avoided it for the longest time, fearing how bad it might be. I was pleasantly surprised by how much fun I had with it. Digital Arnold issues aside. Oh, maybe Brandon didn't like the Digital Arnold. Here is the official Total Arnold endorsed Terminator franchise rankings. Number 6,
okay.
Genesis. Number 5, Rise of the Machines. Number 4, Salvation. Number 3, Dark Fate. Wow, number 3. Wow, okay. Number 2, Terminator. And number 1, T2. Very strong ratings. Brandon goes on to say, Dark Fate and Salvation could be swapped. Both had aspects I loved, but a lot of problematic elements is in them as well. Ultimately, I gave the nod to Dark Fate because of Linda Hamilton and Arnold. Would be interested to hear your rankings. Love you all. See you at the next meetup. From Brandon. Danny, what's your ranking for the T movies that you've seen?
That I've seen, it would be T2, Terminator, Salvation, and then Rise of the Machines. That's all I've seen. I mean, Sarah Connor Chronicles, but T2 is a perfect movie. It's, we know that.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
I will say that the best part of Terminator Dark Fate is probably the first 25 minutes. Like Mackenzie Davis has a star-making performance as like an action star in the first half hour. It's awesome. Like it would knock my socks off.
Okay. Maybe I will watch it this week.
So if anything, watch the just for that.
Wait, was Genesis with Doctor Who?
No, yeah,
Matt
Genesis. Yeah.
Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Pardo, do you have a ranking that you'd care to share?
It's been too long since I saw the first one. So, yeah, I don't really have a ranking. I guess T2 would be number 1.
Thank you.
I've probably seen T3 the most though, because it is
That's
my dad's
wild.
favorite movie.
Yeah.
When my friends would come over,
You'd watch T3.
he would be like, he'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to watch? You guys ever seen T3?"
I love this. I love
And
this.
he's got surround sound in the basement. He had a subwoofer in the corner, and he would crank it.
I love it,
baby. When you would feel it, like you'd feel it in the walls and on the couch, with the Terminator theme going. It was a good time.
I think with Rise of the Machines, when I was growing up, like this was going to be my Terminator because you had seen T2 like all the time on tape or whatever, and then there was like a new Terminator. Like it might just be as good. Like this is my moment. This is going to be like everyone has those T2 memories, but like now it's my turn. Genesis is easily the last one for me. I'd probably do Rise at 5, Dark Fate at 4, and Salvation. Honestly, I can't remember much about the first Terminator either, but for now it'd be like Salvation, Terminator, T2 number 1. I know there's a strong contingent that, they're wagging their finger out there saying Terminator 1's better than Terminator 2, actually. But I honestly can't really remember that much about the first one.
Well, I think it's very rare that, not super rare. I guess it is kind of rare. At least in action sci-fi, for the first 2 movies to just kind of be bangers like that. Aliens is kind of like that, but Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, I feel like are equally quite incredible.
Mosh in chat, Terminator 1 doesn't have John Connor, so it's better by default. I think we got everybody, right? Rankings? Yeah. All right. Next letter from our close personal friend Catcher. Subject line 4 Slim. A long forgotten franchise entry, an old 4.5-star review, and 2 viewings in lead up to recording the episode. By this point in the episode, we'll know his true feelings, but I'm on the edge of my seat. Love you guys. P.S. How about the robot skipping Sam Worthington like a stone across the water? Lol. Pure gold. Yeah, when I logged the second time without a rating, Catcher was losing it.
He's pissed.
Pissed off. Final letter Subject line, Terminator Salvation opening weekend. Hi 70M, this is Logan, aka LP Focus in the Discord. I wanted to write in to say thank you for picking Terminator Salvation for 2 reasons. First reason is that I suggested this movie way back in January for the idea of April's Holy Month, aka Soul Harvest Month. Miracles do happen. Second reason, and most importantly, I first saw this movie opening weekend with my Nana back in 2009. Yes, that's not a typo. This isn't a bit. I took my 72-year-old Nana to see Terminator Salvation, and she mildly enjoyed it. Terminator 2 was my favorite movie as a kid, and I was staying with my Nana that week. I asked her if she wanted to go see the new Terminator movie, and she said yes. Miracles do happen. My Nana is now 86 years old, and she still loves movies. She doesn't have a Letterboxd account, but if she did, I'm sure she would have given this 4th installment in the Terminator franchise a solid 3.5 stars. We both enjoyed it, but it was probably the loudest movie I've ever seen in a theater. Thanks again for picking this movie, and thanks for all the memories you create and help recall with this wonderful podcast. That comes from Logan. What a letter.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you, Nana.
Nana. What a Nana.
Yeah. My God. I honestly, like, this was probably loud then. I feel like movies are getting too loud now. Like, they're way too loud.
You're getting old.
Too loud.
They're too
Can't
loud.
believe you just said that on this podcast.
I mean, I can't be the only one sitting down to see a movie in IMAX or whatever, and you're thinking to yourself, like, this is kind of loud, right? You're looking around maybe to see if someone is like also thinking the same thing, and you want to like make eye contact and like, should we do something?
Where's the knob to turn it down?
I mean,
God, you're old.
there needs to be some studies done. They need to have like someone checking monthly the audio decibel levels in these places if it's safe. Like, you've got people who have Apple Watches, you get warned.
Going off. Mute your Apple Watch, please.
I'm getting DMs right now. They're flowing in. I'm getting agreeing. Thank you, Slim.
Yeah.
In chat, Fox in the Art House. It's true. Zanum, I agree. Indie.
I think loud
LMAO.
Loud music, loud movies is a muscle that you have to work on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everyone's too used to having, you're doing it on your phone, you're doing things in your ear, but you're keeping it low enough so that you can, if someone's talking to you, there's the modern man and woman has too many constraints. They have to keep the volume down. They're multitasking. They're working while listening to music. They've got Slack. They got to hear the Slack notifications. There's too much going on. We've suppressed the art of loud movies, and I think we have to go back.
How about when I used to work in an office and people would have the Outlook notification bell at full volume in meetings? What are you doing? Just sitting at your desk. Turn off the freaking notification. You don't hear that? You're so annoying. My God. Just think I don't work in an office anymore. My God. Those people should be arrested. I would put 24 hours you sit in a jail cell if you don't mute your laptop with Outlook email notifications going off. And listen, folks, if you have text notifications going off, this is for you too. Shut them off. Go on vibrate. Okay?
Tape Deck office will have a jail cell in the corner.
Just for sounds.
I will incarcerate people for lesser than that. Okay, folks? Justice has to be served. All right, we got to talk about next month.
Oh my gosh.
We got a big month.
Huge month.
And
I can't believe Proto's first for this month.
Proto, oh my God.
Leading us.
Once again.
I think there's 5. Is there 5 weeks?
Is there 5?
There might be 5.
Proto gets to go twice.
No.
Finally.
No. So we had a lot of fun with this month.
Yeah.
May the 4th. Let's keep the fun train rolling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies coming out in June that look a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
A lot of fun movies coming out in June. So we're going to be doing comic book month for the entire month.
That believe us.
We're going back to our roots.
Yeah.
We grew up on comic books. We met through comic books.
Yes.
It's time to pay it back.
We owned comic book stores.
Yeah. Some of us, not all of us.
Some of us weren't stupid. Stay tuned.
So, a lot of fun movies coming out in June. But Proto is picking first for next week. And it sounded like you were waffling a little bit.
Tell us about your waffles.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
How about the fact that we haven't done a comic book month before?
I know.
I mean, this is year 4, and we're finally getting around to
Our
comic
bravery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought I volunteered to go first because I was pretty set on the movie I wanted to do. But this morning I kind of had a midday crisis.
Gosh.
Because I was thinking, I had this movie locked in and it's very popular, a lot of love for it. But, it just didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like a proto pick. And I just, I was having a tough time. So I pivoted.
Wow.
I pivoted away from one movie to something else that I haven't seen.
Oh.
I don't know. You guys don't have it logged either.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
But also in honor of Max week.
Launch week, launch month.
Launch week
yes.
for Max.
Yes.
Zaslav.
Our sponsor.
Streaming on Max.
Oh my.
From 2003, American Splendor.
Wow.
American Splendor.
Oh my word. This is a proto pick right here.
Uh-huh.
This is a big time proto pick.
Yep.
Ordinary life is pretty complex stuff. An original mix of fiction and reality illuminates the life of comic book hero everyman Harvey Pekar, starring Paul Giamatti.
Giamatti.
It's time.
Holy cow.
3.7 average on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I'm interested. Apparently, this is kind of like a biopic, documentary, hybrid type of movie.
No. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was
a
reading a little bit about
mockumentary?
it. Well, it's like interlaced with, I think, like real footage of Harvey Pekar in it.
Whoa.
But also like these scenes with
What the-
Giamatti playing him. So we'll get into it.
No
It's a
stars.
co-direction from Sherry Springer Berman and Robert Pulcini, who I'm not familiar with. Looking at their filmography, I haven't seen any of their previous work either. Wow. Okay. Big pick. Probably leading things off. Matthew in Chat the Podcast Godfather has this pre-LB logged. BLB. Look at Paul Giamatti's hair. Very Keaton-esque.
Oh, it's very Keaton-esque.
Obvious Michael Keaton homage.
Yeah, we're gonna shave your hair like Michael Keaton's.
Timothy, if you know we did The Crow, okay? You know we did The Crow early on.
He knows.
That was actually, looking back, that was when we got featured in Pocket Casts.
Oh,
That's where everything changed.
the crow.
Turning point for us.
What was the other movie we did then? Monty Python, Holy Grail, and In the Mood for Love.
What was the theme
What a
that
theme.
month?
What a
What was the
threesome.
theme?
I don't remember what the theme was.
Wait, was that Cult Month?
Cult movie month?
No, we did Waterworld for Cult. Maybe that was?
No.
Maybe Dutch says yes to Cult month.
Because I think that was your pick, Slim. Didn't you pick The Crow?
God, what a
Who knows?
soundtrack. You talk about a soundtrack.
I mean,
Alice in
I picked Mr.
Chains.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Art says we didn't used to be chained to themes. Get Art out of here.
The good old days, right, Art?
Sorry, Art, that we're not entertaining enough for you.
What does Art want? What is Art after
just
right
gave
now?
him a whole
Art
month.
wants us to do Yentl. That's the last time I got a pick from Art was Yentl, I'm pretty sure.
I got a DM from him about Yentl too.
How many people is Art DMing this Yentl propaganda?
There's 15 tape deck podcasts.
One of them can
Someone
cover.
can do
There's
it.
30 adjacent podcasts. One of them can cover Yentl. I will say that Barbara Streisand plays a very fun cameo in the
Oh.
Christian Bale remix Curse Freakout video. by the way, if anyone wants to fire that up on YouTube.
Goodness, we didn't even talk about his freak out.
Oh, yeah. Indy, I did consider Watchmen, but I didn't want to get
Murdered.
I didn't want to get removed from the show.
My God, that would have been an insane.
You would have sent me to the moon if you said Watchmen right now.
Oh, last thing I'll say is I looked up that the Bale freak out on set. We didn't talk about it. I think we talked about it in a previous episode, but that was another bit of bad press this movie got. Was he freaked out of the director of photography and somebody leaked the audio for like 4 minutes. So I listened to that again today. Very bad. But his apology.
Mm-hmm. I heard that too.
He went on K-Rock, the New York City radio station. He called in to their afternoon zoo show and gave his apology. This was 2009. This is like another century. Like, what? Can you imagine the ideas of this happening and an actor calling into a radio station in New York City to apologize?
No.
What?
I can't believe it.
A Twitter space.
It would. That's it for this week. We got to go. It's almost 90-minute episode.
Jeez,
we can't do it. We can't.
Salvation.
Next week starts Comic Book Month with American Splendor on Max. Proto, any closing thoughts?
A feature on Letterboxd that I was thinking I really wanted, because I keep going back to this AFI list. And each time I want to go to it, I have to search for it and then find the one, because there's a lot of them on there. And I was like, man, I wish I could just bookmark pages on Letterboxd. I was like, maybe they should add a bookmark feature. They don't have that, but they do kind of have a feature like that, which is the likes page. So if you go to your account and you go to things that you have liked recently, the things you've liked recently show up at the top. So I like the AFI list, so it always shows up at the top. So it kind of serves almost as a bookmark page for me. And of course has all the other lists that I've bookmarked and movies or reviews that I've recently liked. So I thought, I don't think I've ever really used this page, or maybe a couple times, but now I'm using it all the time. And I thought it's a pretty neat feature. So just wanted to highlight that.
Oh, Proto's Feature Corner, potential new segment at the end of the episode.
There it is.
We'll see everybody next week for American Splendor. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large, Dale_A. Transcripts provided by Sophie Shin and music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to Pro or Patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Do you want me to go fucking trash your lights? Do you want me to fucking trash them? Fuck! And what the fuck is it with you?
I was looking at the light.
Fuck! And what the fuck is it with you?
I was looking at the light.
Fuck! And what the fuck is it with you?
I was looking at the light.
Fuck! And what the fuck is it with you?
I was looking at the light.
It's fucking distracting. Oh, good. 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 No! ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'm gonna fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? Give me a fucking answer.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
You are trashing my scene.
Shut the fuck up, would you? Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
And I ain't walking on this set if you're still
Shut
hired.
the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
I'm fucking serious.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up if you can't take a joke.
You are trashing my scene. What don't you fucking understand? 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 I'll fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'll fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'll fucking kick your fucking ass. What don't you fucking understand? I'll fucking kick your fucking ass. Seriously, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally. Fucking ass.